I am a Nigerian, but what am I proud of? My country is in chaos. The thing is, I'm always forced to ask this question. Are we at war? For every nation undergoing a war, two things are common: poverty and debt. Poverty is a gigantic adversary to our nation, and it keeps swelling by the day. Nigeria is one of the 5 nations that has the highest number of poor in the world. More than 60% of our people live below poverty line. 7 out of every 10 children are born into poverty and may never get out of it for the rest of their lives. Over 12 million youths, mostly educated and thoroughly productive, are unemployed. This is sad. For a nation that swims in billions of dollars yearly, the wealth of the nation is enjoyed by only a tiny fraction of the populace. She's so rich, but the people are suffering. They are desperately searching for a makeshift survival means, seeking miracles over mundane issues. 80% of those people are either hungry or sick. But is it salvation they need? Or this is just poverty and ignorance?
That I eat it yesterday, but my stomach is still worrying me that I enjoy the fish.
Sweet fire, and I use it to do some suya. Very delicious, you know.
But it's smelling.
Yeah, what is smelling? The smell does not mean anything.
We hope the fish will come as in another one will come outside again, so that we can pounce on it very well.
The poverty is so gnawing on the population, it began eating up through the classes. For as much as I know, middle class people are submerged in poverty too, because keeping up with the city life in our country is a grapple in an ocean of inconveniences. One out of every 2 educated Nigerians have been robbed before. Since the end of Biafra War, our roads have claimed almost as equal number of lives as the war itself. Our flight system is one of the scariest carousels in the world. These men have claimed more souls than the army of many nations around the world. The number of lives claimed by terrorism in Nigeria in the last 4 years is triple the number of lives claimed by terrorists in America in the last 40 years. In 1998, a pipeline explosion killed over 1,200 people at Jesse in Niger Delta. Since then, almost a dozen of a similar occurrence have taken place. This is the most satanic disaster our country faces. The sad part is, it has no face, and a thing without a face cannot be recorded, which means we can never surmise an appreciable figure to the number of lives this has taken, and still taken. So I am going to ask again, are we at war? But if our nation is at war, who is she fighting? Who is the villain? Who is the antagonist? Who is the enemy? Boko Haram? Let's look into this. Through raids and bomb blasts, the insurgent group has been responsible for the deaths of over 15,000 Nigerians, and in 2014, the toll had increased dramatically. Their atrocities have displaced more than 6 million people from their homes. They are growing wider, bolder, and stronger.
We have killed countless soldiers, and we are going to kill more. Our strength and firepower is bigger than that of Nigeria. Nigeria is no longer a big deal to us, as far as we are concerned. We will now comfortably confront the United States of America.
So they are an enemy to be wary of. But are they responsible for road accidents, black magic, plane crash, kidnapping, robbery, and extreme poverty? No. Then who is? The government? Who is the government? Our royal leaders? King Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. These folks have consistently abused the ideology of democracy in our nation. They run a complete monarchy system. Just from the way he has been politically sacking people lately, one wouldn't argue that fact. He even runs a monarchy system within his political party, a democratic party which they call People's Democratic Party. Such is why we witnessed the most shocking faction of a political party in our history. In 2011, this man dubiously begged his way into this current administration, starting with the people of his political party, who couldn't take more of his backstabbing, and then resolved into the dramatic faction. But the whole party palaver is not our only concern. This man begged us too, we the populace, entreating us with his shoeless story. He made 91 promises during his presidential campaign in 2011, and International Press Center categorized all the promises under 13 subtitles.
Fairness means that we must provide skill and job opportunities for the youth. We must empower women, and above all, must improve the lives of the urban and rural poor in all the 36 states of the Federation. I share this noble aspiration and pledge my personal commitment to it.
Less than a year after we sympathized with his shoeless story and made him the president of the nation, this man gave Nigerians the saddest New Year celebration ever. He couldn't have picked a better time to stab us in the back. We, his sympathizers. On the 1st of January 2012, every Nigerian received a mighty blow in the face as our once shoeless leader announced the removal of bus subsidy. This provoked the most widespread, the biggest, and the most resolute rally this nation had ever seen. The movement bore millions of fervent protesters nationwide, bitter and angry citizens. But such a general and grand gesture never moved him. He was too stubborn to let the cry of millions of people affect his decision. After we received the undeserving mighty blow in January 2012, our nation began a long hideous cruise through the ocean of tears and blood. Powered by the ghastly atrocities of insurgency, the consequences of rusty and immature infrastructure, and the barbaric behavior of the government. A broken system superintended by a devious administration which is being led by an incompetent leader. Every time they ask this man about key issues affecting the nation, his response is always, "We're working on it." When will they finish working on these things and give Nigerians results? And if he's not saying we're working on it, he's blaming Nigerians or his enemies.
Mr. President, the United States believes that the security forces in Nigeria are driving more people into the arms of Boko Haram, that the police, like in the last year or so, have killed more people than Boko Haram has.
That is not correct. That is not correct. And I've said this severally. Those are insinuations by some interest group. Well, definitely the insinuations by some interest group.
All right, so one of those interest groups is the State Department of the United States.
So people come in to make some provocative statements. You even begin to ask whether they meant well for this country.
That agriculture can make you have your own private jet. In fact, when you talk about crude oil stealing, yes, I agree with you. Frankly speaking, we want the international community to support Nigeria, because this stolen crude is being bought by refineries abroad, and they know the crude oil was stolen. The world must condemn what is wrong. The stolen crude is refined abroad.
$20 billion today in Nigeria, the American will go and say this will cut that money there. Crisis in developing countries will continue, whether at the primary school level, secondary school level, tertiary level. Those are things that you would expect in all developing countries. I'm not saying we don't have issues of corruption, but that is not our number one problem. Corruption is as old as human race. That's the excesses of Boko Haram. Yes, Boko Haram has been there before I even came as the vice president. If you will agree with me, within this period, you've never heard of bombings in Abuja. I don't know whether he's dead or alive. I don't know whether he's dead or alive. No journalists will even know more than us, because you know how to. You know, some of you always talk to them.
What exactly you are doing to help to stop Boko Haram? I know that you declare state of emergency and all that.
We are working very hard on that.
How exactly, sir?
We are working very hard.
And 3,000 people have died.
Maybe you need to update your statistics.
For those who know about terrorism, any country that is interested in terror, you only get out of it. This country has been worse.
When I interviewed you 3 years ago, you said that the main issues for the people of Nigeria, electricity, power you talked about, well, today those are still the same issues. Some 60% of the people of Nigeria don't have enough or regular power, regular electricity.
I would have loved that you asked an ordinary Nigerian on the streets of Lagos, Abuja, or any other city this question about power. That is one area that Nigerians are quite pleased with the government, that our commitment to improve power is working. So if you are saying something different, I'm really surprised. That is one area that even civil society members agree that government has kept faith with its promise.
It's a lie.
Nothing's changed.
The power is not improving at all.
The promises are restructuring until the lights went out.
Doing well. Most of our PDP states are doing well. In fact, the security challenges are less in the PDP states because of the commitment of the governors.
Jonathan has said that he's only standing for one term.
President Jonathan said, and not only once, twice, publicly, not only in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, that he will have one term. One of the things that is very important in the life of any man or any person, that he must be a man or a person of his word.
Your president visited our country with 7 private jets, and that's never happened before. We're all excited. This is Nigeria. It's the country with the largest number of private jets. 7 private jets only. I know there must be more. But for us still, that was wow. They came in their own jets. Everybody came in their own jet.
We're talking about fuel subsidy. In 2009, this country paid 291 billion naira as subsidy for petroleum products. By 2011, this number had jumped to 2.7 trillion naira. There have been investigations, and what did we discover? That a lot of that money never went to fuel subsidy that was consumed by Nigerians.
An Australian who's been negotiating for the release of 200 schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram from their school in northeast Nigeria has today accused unnamed politicians of funding the Islamist fighters. Well, according to Nigeria's This Day newspaper, Dr. Stephen Davies is saying that Nigerian politicians are one of Boko Haram's primary sources of funding.
There are commanders in Boko Haram who are willing to hand over the girls and who want to do a peace deal. They want to demobilize. Now, those guys, they have told me clearly they will not attempt to hand over the girls or further discussions on peace because the sponsors will direct the other guys to kill those willing to enter into the peace deal. So without the sponsors being active, we can